Today's guest is one of the most physically dominant and talked about players in Survivor history, Mr. Jonathan Young.
I lost 30 pounds this last go around. And I
will go on Survivor.
Yeah, no. This is one thing about being homeschooled. For the first 15 years of my life, I just really didn't know where I stood in the world.
Well, what a better experience to come out of your shell than just going on national television.
They really emphasized on how physical I was on season 42. I used that to my benefit on season 50.
This was the biggest season of Survivor of all time.
I really have had a hard time with fans thinking that I wouldn't work with women. That one hurt me. That's just so upsetting that that's a thing.
How do you honestly feel about Aubry winning season 50? When it comes to reality TV, I've got Dibs On This. Welcome to season 2 of Dibs On This, the podcast that goes beyond the reality TV edit to find out the real stories about the stars you couldn't stop watching. I'm your host, Michelle DeBellis. Today's guest is one of the most physically dominant and talked about players in Survivor history. From carrying his tribe on his back in Survivor 42 to battling his way into the final 3 of the most monumental season of Survivor 50, cementing himself as a true Survivor legend. But behind the challenge beast reputation is a much deeper story that goes back to the beginning, from growing up in Alabama to being on reality TV for the first time at only 14 years old. Today, we're going to find out all about this incredible man, both inside and outside of the game. It is my true honor to welcome the first ever Survivor guest to my podcast, Mr. Jonathan Young.
Yeah, woo! Miss Michelle, thank you. That was so good.
I love you.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
You're
I feel like
so special.
I'm ready for anything now after that intro.
That's right. Well, thank you again for being here. You are my first Survivor guest, so it is an honor for me.
Thank you.
Yes. What an incredible journey you have had.
It has been crazy.
Being on Survivor 42 to just finishing Survivor 50.
Yeah.
We just filmed the finale. Crazy, incredible accomplishment. I just want to start off by saying congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Because what I said in my intro, I meant. You truly are one of the most talked about players in Survivor history and definitely in the modern realm of Survivor.
That means a lot. And I played with some great players. I knew going into season 50 that it was going to be extremely hard to get to the end. But I used I guess I was less known than most of the players I was against. And I wanted to use that to my advantage because they kind of painted me in season 42 as a guy that was very, physical. He didn't know what was going on strategically most of the time. And I wanted to flip that over because I had an opportunity to go in and play the same game in the eyes of my opponent.
Yeah.
So for 4 years, I wanted to change that game, but make my opponents think that I was playing the same game.
Right.
So, yeah.
I love that. And you did an incredible job at that.
Thank you.
Before we jump into all things Survivor, I want to go back in time to what it was like growing up for you. Before the world knew you as the challenge beast from Survivor, who was Jonathan Young growing up in Alabama?
So I grew up in Gadsden, Alabama. It's more north. It's about 6 hours from the coast. It was really woodsy. We didn't have a lot. We lived in between 2 mountains, right where the Appalachians began. And my dad, he wanted to get away from everybody, so we bought 200 acres around us.
Wow.
So it was real quiet. It was really nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And my dad, he was very, very strict on us being physically strong and us having discipline. So my dad would wake my brother and I up when it's from like 3 years old to I don't know how old to run up the side of the mountain or do pull-ups or push-ups. My dad was very, very strict on us having discipline. And I loved it. I loved being physical. I loved racing my brother, who's 4 years older than me. And
so you're always trying to be stronger than your big bro.
I always wanted to beat my big brother.
Yeah.
And my dad, he really wanted to instill in us to have discipline and to be strong. And it stuck. My brother didn't like it as much, but I really, really
It clearly stuck.
Yeah, it helped. It helped get me ready for the future.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you growing up back then?
I wasn't really connected in school because I was homeschooled. I didn't know where I stood. This is one thing about being homeschooled is you don't know where you are or how you relate or if you measure up. I didn't know if I was smart or
True.
if I wasn't, if I was dumb.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So for the first 15 years of my life, I just really didn't know where I stood in the world. I didn't even know if I was strong or what.
Right.
The only thing that I could measure myself up against kids was when I would go play sports, if I was swimming or playing soccer, going to church. I got to interact with kids, but I really didn't know. I didn't know till I went to college where I stood.
That's so interesting because I feel like, as much as you grow up and people tell you, and in any aspect of your life, even when you're an adult, people are like, don't compare yourself, don't compare yourself. It's human nature to compare yourself. And that's so interesting to not have that.
Yes. And when you don't understand peer pressure as much.
True.
Which is good. So there's good and bad things about being homeschooled.
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand drugs at all.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I didn't understand it. Yeah. And I didn't understand why people dressed certain ways.
What's fashion?
Yeah. I never got it. And it helped, but it also, it hurt.
So wait, you were homeschooled for all of your education until college?
Every grade I was homeschooled.
Were you always competitive? Obviously,
yeah.
in this reality TV world, in the entertainment world, we see you as this amazing competitor on Survivor. Was that always you?
I was always competitive. My dad used to say, if you beat your brother in running up the side of the mountain, then he's got to do it 3 more times. And I always wanted to make my brother do more.
Did you ever win?
Oh, yeah. And made him do push-ups, pull-ups. I always wanted to beat my brother. So since I was little, I was competitive.
We kind of have to thank your dad a little bit here for training this really strong man who has this physical discipline, who never wants to give up, right?
He helped me. He did.
Helped you.
Yeah. A lot of things to thank my mom and dad for. And to even homeschool me, to care enough about me to homeschool me is a lot.
Yeah.
The older I got, I realized that I need to kind of separate myself a little bit. I still love my mom and dad, but I just needed to separate myself a little bit on how they live and how I live.
That's understandable.
Yeah. I feel like being a big fish in a small pond can stunt your growth. Like if you take a bass out of a big body of water and you put him in a little tank, he's not going to grow.
Right.
And that's kind of how
it's real.
It is real. You can't grow in those areas as much.
Well, let's talk about your faith. You are a very faithful man. Religion is very big to you.
It is.
When did that come about in your life? Because I know that's a big part of who you are. You are a religious guy and you talk about it. But did that start when you were younger, or how old were you when you got into your faith and really were focused on it?
That is a great question because I had a relationship with the Lord when I was little, but then I started wondering, is that just because my parents are religious? Everybody kind of goes through that phase of, well, maybe this is because I was taught that.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about other religions and what that looks like. And is it just because I'm from the South that I believe in Jesus? And I started feeling more of a tug from Jesus and go, no, this isn't just because you're a Southern guy. It's because you actually have a relationship with me. And I started doing things more on my own instead of because of my family. Like, for example, I'll go to Honduras and I see these people that are in need. Like down in Honduras, people are so happy and more innocent in a lot of ways because they don't have much of a cell phone out in the middle of the jungle. They got nothing. I'd see them have this energy that I didn't have. And it was, some of them, they just had a relationship with the Lord.
Right.
And a real one. And it wasn't because people were telling them, it's because they got nothing else to lean on. And that made me realize that I want to have I want that. I don't want to just because everybody else is doing it, but because I need something that helps me that I can lean on when I have nothing else. So for example, going through Survivor, I have to have something that isn't physical to lean on or I'm going to fall. And what I lean on is Jesus. It reminds me to keep everything in perspective.
So do you feel like being religious helped you through your entire experience on Survivor?
Oh my gosh. So it's like a forced fast When you're out on Survivor, you have no phone, you have no food. And if you are religious, then everything comes in like a wave. Like you don't have the phone to look at. So all you have is the game and God. That's it. So when I'm out there and I'm laying there and I'm starving, I think about what's important. And I do think about relationships and not what somebody posted or what's happening politically. It's more of like a genuine feeling, a genuine relationship. That's why when you go on Survivor and you got to lie to all these people, you have to separate God in the game because it can get really messy with all the lies.
You're like looking inside, like your inner self.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm so hungry. What's happening? But you have someone who's looking out for you.
Yeah, it does.
That's awesome.
And you have like a sixth sense of what's going on around you. For me, I knew a lot about the game because I mean, you have nothing else to think about. It's strictly like, oh, well, this person just came to talk to me. Well, what are they thinking? Why are they thinking that? Could it be that he's coming after me? You got nothing else to do.
Right.
So it's really, as far as you can think about it by watching it, it's that 10 times when you're in the game.
So before Survivor, going back to growing up, right? What were you known for in your friend group? Because nowadays everybody knows you as like Jonathan Survivor, this rugged, amazing, strong man. But like, what were you like growing up? And was it similar?
I was so sweet and kind, and I used to be so shy. I used to be like the shyest one out of all my friends. I used to wait at the bus stop for my friends to get off the bus so I could play with them at the corner.
Yeah.
We had the corner, and I when I turned 20, I started realizing that I had to shake that a little bit. That feeling of I didn't want to talk to anybody because I could say the wrong thing.
Right.
I was scared to talk to people, talk to girls, and eventually you get so sick of it that you have to change yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with me is I go, I can't be shy anymore. I got to start telling people what I think and being able to communicate. It was that bad.
Do you remember the moment that you were like,
yes,
snap out of it, Jonathan?
I do. Because I
it?
had a crush on this girl named Barkley when I was 14 years old. And I could never do anything about it. I couldn't
muster up the strength to say,
I couldn't muster up the strength to go, hey, or like, you want to go play? I could never do it. And that's what really got to me in my early teens is when I noticed it a lot that I couldn't do it. I couldn't talk to the girls.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what pushed you. You were like, I gotta get out of this.
Yes. I got to be able to talk to girls eventually. And now I'm not as shy. I've got a beautiful girlfriend.
Yes.
And she, I wasn't shy with her. She was actually the shy one. So
Okay,
that was cool
nice.
to see the tables turn a little bit.
The tables have turned. I love that. What do you think the most normal thing about you is that would completely surprise all the Survivor fans?
I think one thing that people assume about me is that I am not approachable. That's been something that I've tried to squash in Survivor and in real life is I want people to be comfortable to talk to me about anything.
Yeah.
That I love everyone. For some reason, I think my deep voice and my height is a little threatening. And that's not something that I mean to give off, but that's the way God made me.
Yeah.
I've always wanted people to feel comfortable to talk to me about anything.
Right.
And I'm working through that, even how to be more approachable with people. I'm still learning because season 50 just came out. And it seems that people might still think I'm not as approachable.
Yeah. So
I'm still learning, still working on that because that's been following me around since I've been this big and have had this deep of a voice.
in the world of Survivor, I believe that you are an easy target because you are a strong, tall, huge man. I think people kind of miss the plot on Survivor. Survivor, if you were to put 12 people in the wilderness, 20 people, 10 people, whatever it is in the wilderness, who's going to survive? Not me. I'm going to die. I'm a 5'2", 115-pound girly. Like, I understand it's TV. I make it. I work in it. But I think people kind of miss that element of the show now. And it's only about the mental gameplay of it that turns into the assumptions of people's characters and who they are internally. It's like, wait, can we also remember like who would actually survive on an island?
That's what
like,
I was thinking.
Can we think about that? Because like in my opinion, you'd be the last man standing, you know?
Well, thank you.
And I don't know. That's just how I feel. And the fans can come for me, but I want people to remember that even though Survivor has become like 90%, maybe even 95% gameplay.
Maybe 95.
It's what about the physicality aspect? You know, like you would survive.
I wondered that too. Like it is
You're
called
the survivor.
It is called Survivor. And like I think that should maybe have a little more to do with like the surviving aspect. They kind of don't even show a lot of us. Like this is something that wasn't shown on the show is we had a spearfishing competition between me and Ozzy.
Okay.
Because Ozzy was like the guy that I looked up to.
Yeah.
Because he was
an incredible competitor.
He was a great competitor. And I even said the first time I went out, I want to play like Ozzy in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a spearfishing competition and I beat him.
Yeah.
And I was so excited.
Yeah.
And then it didn't air. I was like, well, that's something perfect they could show about like surviving because we shot 14 fish together.
Listen, I mean, this is why Survivor is the most successful reality show because there are so many elements to it. It is so unbelievably entertaining mentally, physically, the whole thing. And it's something that you can't imagine being in, you know, like you're like, this is an unbelievable scenario.
Yes.
Being put on an island with barely any food and all these people and having to blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, it's just a very unique situation.
It's real. That's what I love about Survivor too, is we're actually starving. It's Mr. Jeff actually going off the cuff, saying what he's saying. He doesn't have a piece in his ear, which is pretty crazy. All of that is real. It's not
He's incredible.
And when we talk, we're actually saying these things. I feel like it's a stronghold for real reality TV because like I thought before I did it, they might be feeding us something.
Yeah.
Like a candy bar or something. We're not eating. I lost 30 pounds this last go around. And I will go on Survivor. Yeah, no.
Just kidding.
It took a little longer for me to.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then I gained 40 in a month. Oh. And then I lost and gained. My body's still regulating from a year.
You mean once you were done filming, you gained the 40 pounds?
Yes.
Okay. Like right out, where were you just like cheeseburgering it up?
I ate candy. I ate cheeseburgers. I ate pizza, milkshakes, everything. I ate everything. I bet like the first time
you had sugar, your mouth like salivated, right?
I mean, it was insane. And I think that I'm still working on getting that fat off a year later. Yeah.
This is crazy. It's like secretly really unhealthy. Yeah. Like everyone's weight's fluctuating.
The coach told me that because he's played 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And he's like, eventually your body's just like, well, screw you. I'm sick of you keep starving me like this. Because there is a point where it can get unhealthy because your body goes into shock.
Right.
It's like over and over. Once you do it once, your body's like, okay, I'll get you back to normal. The second time, it's a little harder. Third time, it gets even worse.
Yeah. Well, it is fascinating to me that the human body can survive for so long with so little.
Me too.
What were you eating every day? Truly, what do you guys eat?
You can drink coconuts. There's not a lot of nutrients, but if we drink coconuts, we have some little berries that you can find. There's this thing like a potato. It's a root.
Uh-huh.
And then there's breadfruit if you're at the right time of the year. So what happens is they're on the same islands.
It's all straight from the trees, like wild stuff.
49 goes right before 50. So what happens is 49 strips they strip the trees bare with them eating all the food, right?
So season 49, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then 50 gets there and we've got basically nothing because they ate all of the fruit and everything that was on the trees. So we get the short end of the stick big time.
No.
Yeah, we get barely anything.
Oh my God, Jonathan.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
It is crazy because it happened to me on 42. If it's an even season, then the one before they get all the good stuff.
So the odd seasons are lucky.
Yes. Because they're the first season of the year.
Hey, 51.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to eat good out there.
That's right.
Growing up, did you ever think you would be on reality TV? Did you ever see yourself on reality TV?
So what's crazy is I saw a commercial for Endurance when I was 14.
Yes.
And I had to send in, I think it might have been a VHS.
Uh-huh. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
As you're casting like
Yeah,
audition
my casting tape.
on an VHS.
I know, for Discovery Kids, Endurance. And JD Roth is standing there saying, send in a tape if you think you got what it takes. My brother helped me edit it because he used to make videos.
So cool.
And then I remember this. I was at church months later and I get a phone call and I remember the feeling. And it was, I think, a voicemail. And it was Mr. Patrick Reyna.
Your husband.
Man. It was a message saying, call me back. We got some good news for you. And he called me back and it felt like my life had changed right there. Because I called him back and Mr. Patrick says, we have a spot for you. And I just remember losing it. All my friends were around me. It was life-changing.
I'm like getting emotional because I'm sorry.
He's the one who started all this.
My husband, for everybody listening that doesn't know, my husband is also a TV producer and worked with Jonathan when he was 14 years old on a television show called Endurance.
I wish I had a
Insert picture here.
Yeah, of me and Mr. Patrick.
There he is. That was Jonathan's first time actually being on reality TV.
In Fiji.
And I'm so happy you naturally went there because I was going to ask you about it.
Yeah.
You know, you're 14 years old. Homeschooled. You auditioned for this reality show. It was called Endurance, right?
Yeah, Endurance.
It was on Discovery Kids, ABC Family, and it was basically Survivor for Kids.
It was Survivor for Kids.
It was the Survivor for Kids.
They put you on an island and you're not with your parents. You do get some food, but you can even bathe in the ocean. It was real. I mean, it was real as it could be. And we did the challenges like Survivor, and Mr. Patrick was there and he was producing it, helped produce the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so he was always around with Mr. JD, who's the host. And it just completely changed my life. And from there, I wanted to do TV. I knew it. I tried out from stuff from 14 on until Survivor.
That's awesome.
And then
people don't know that about you. See, that's what I want. I want the fans right now, the Survivor 50 and whatever, all the Survivor fans, to know that 14-year-old Jonathan Young was on Endurance, which was basically Survivor for Kids.
It was.
And that's where you got the bug, right?
And that's where I got it, in Fiji. And what's funny,
it's crazy. It filmed in Fiji too.
Everything I've done since then is in Fiji. Season 42, season 50.
Yep.
It's just, and the islands are right beside each other. Yeah,
they're
they're like parallel, so we can see the island that we did the Endurance on.
Well, I think this is so crazy though, because you were saying growing up how you were shy, and around 14 you were too afraid to talk to girls, but you weren't too afraid to audition for Endurance.
And halfway through Endurance is when it started happening. I remember, I think it might have been Mr. Patrick that went to my dad and said, Jonathan's coming out of his shell.
Yeah.
And I started being more me, and everything started just going so much better because I was homesick for the first week.
Yeah.
And then
naturally,
I remember they heard something in the mic, and it was me doing this with my hands. I started playing around more, and then that's when it took off. I really enjoyed the last week I was there. I became less shy. Everything got better experience. And that's kind of when I started realizing that it wasn't a great idea to just stay shy and not let anybody know who I was.
Well, what a better experience to come out of your shell than just going on national television,
That's right.
Just killing it on a reality show, right?
And everybody started seeing the show, and I went to church camp, and there was a whole group of kids that were like, "Are you Jonathan off Endurance?" I said, "I sure am."
That's
and
me.
They got their little picture, because back then cameras were kind of bigger.
Yeah.
So they got their picture with me.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool moment and a growing experience for me.
That's awesome. I love that. So that's where the real Jonathan came out of his shell, having that experience, which is incredible. When you were on Endurance, were you a similar, as obviously you were much younger, you're a kid, you're 14, but were you a similar player to the way you are on Survivor? Were you a big, strong person? Were you like the strongest one?
I was strong, but so this stick man, this tattoo is actually from Endurance. This is a disadvantage. It was called a samadhi. And the disadvantage was you had to do the challenge on your own. This is the only tattoo I've got.
Oh, so it was like solo. You were punished and you had to do a challenge on your own.
Right. And I ended up winning the challenge and conquering the samadhi.
Uh-huh.
And this is like my life mantra now. Basically, if you got to do it alone, do the right thing. If nobody's looking, still stay true to yourself. and it's like my accountability partner.
I
And
love that.
it became my logo for my beach service, and then it's my logo for Young Strength. See the look, you can actually see the stick man. See him holding his arms up in the Y?
Let me see.
So that's the Y, that's his head, and he's doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So on Endurance, how far did you make it? Didn't you make it to the finale on that show too?
Final 3. What happened was
I mean, it's a thread here.
I got it's funny, 4th in 42, 3rd endurance, 2nd in 50.
Wow.
This one, I won the challenge.
Okay.
And Mr. JD Roth, the host, said, well, we're mixing it up this season. If you win the challenge, you're not safe. If you win, they were called TV nuts. We're going to put 1 in a bag instead of 5, because 2nd place gets 5. 3rd place gets 10 nuts in the bag. They shake it up. They go, pick a nut. And if you pick your color, you're going to the Temple of Fate, which is like tribal.
Oh.
And so Mr. JD shook the nuts up. And then Hannah, my partner, she pulls one out, and it's blue. There were 10 of them, obvious. 5 green, 1 red. We were the red team. Shakes it up. I put my hand in, pull out a red one. And we go to the Temple of Fate, and we lose.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was so rough. I let Hannah down.
That's
I still
okay.
regret it. I know, but
stop.
She deserved better.
This is what she deserved better.
She did. She was a good partner. She dealt with me when I was 14. That was a lot. I haven't had many experiences with that many kids before. So, Hannah, if you're out there, thank you for dealing with me.
Yes, Hannah. I love it. That's so cool. Do you have a core memory from filming? I mean, that's obviously an epic story, but do you have a core memory from filming Endurance?
We were out on these rings, which is when I got the disadvantage. And the person who would stay on these rings the longest won. And basically, it was in push-up position, and you're on this ring, and whoever lasts the longest wins. But we went too long. So after 30 minutes, after being on our arms and our feet, we had to use one arm. And so after 30 minutes, we switched to one arm, and it's me and Will. I still follow these people on Instagram too. It's pretty cool. But that was the biggest moment for me, was beating the Samadhi. So that was really cool. It made me realize that I was enough, because I never felt like I was enough being homeschooled. And I really started feeling like I was good enough.
That's so awesome, Jonathan. I love that you had that experience. And that's your only tattoo, you said,
That's my only tattoo.
I love that. So do you think being on Endurance, maybe you didn't realize it then, all those years when you were super young, right? But do you think it prepped you a little bit for your future of being on Survivor?
I know it prepped me.
It did.
I knew I wanted to do the real thing ever since. So when I was 20, maybe 2, I sent in a video to Survivor. Mm-hmm. And then I did an open casting call when I was 25. Mm-hmm. And Jesse Tannenbaum called me and said, we liked your 1 minute shot, because they only give you a minute in front of the camera when they do the open casting call.
Yeah.
And I took my shirt off and I started like bouncing my chest. And I was trying to get their attention.
The movie bounce.
I was going bounce. And then Mr. Jesse liked it. And then I sent him a video and another video. And then the crazy part is, 5 days out from leaving to shoot 41, mm-hmm. Mr. Jesse called me and said, hey, we are not shooting season 41. COVID's going to be a big deal. And then I was literally leaving, and he said, this is going to be a big deal. Sorry. I said, no way this is going to be anything. This is before
my God,
COVID
wait,
hit.
I didn't know this.
Yes.
So you were going to be on season 41.
Yeah. And then COVID hit, and I thought, no, what are y'all talking about? Because we had no idea.
Yeah, no one did.
And then it hit like a month later, and I was like, oh, this is a really big deal.
The world's
shutting down.
It's paused.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought it was them just being exaggerating.
Dramatic,
and, no, then it was real. And then I said, well, Mr. Jesse, what are we going to do?
Right.
He said, well, maybe we'll have a spot for you in the future, but possibly not. I was so disheartened.
Oh, my God.
Because not only did the world shut down, but I missed my opportunity to get on one of the biggest shows ever.
Well, you thought.
I thought.
You missed your
God
opportunity.
has a plan.
God has a plan.
That's right.
So then when COVID was over, 41 happened,
41
right?
happened, and they said, we don't have a spot for you.
And that must have sucked.
That hurt.
That was really hard. But.
And then Jesse goes, well, we have a spot for you now. And Mr. Jesse, and I think maybe Mr. Jeff let me know.
Nice. Season 42.
Season 42.
Well, thank God they chose you for that one,
That's right. That's right.
I mean, then you go all the way to 50.
That's right.
All the way into the finale. So let's talk about your life like in between Endurance and Survivor. What did that look like? I know you said doing Endurance really helped you a lot coming out of your shell, but what were you doing for work? Did you start your own businesses? Like, what was life like through your teens into your early 20s?
Life was, now that I think about it, I don't think about this a lot, but after Endurance, a few years after that, the BP oil spill happened in the Gulf.
Yeah.
And the oil started coming towards my hometown because I'm on the coast. It was really bad.
Yeah.
So I became a BP oil captain to help clean up the oil.
Wow.
And so we would clean up.
Jonathan.
Yeah, we cleaned up the oil. And then I started a beach service when I was 18. So the BP oil spill when I was 17. And 18, I started a beach service and it started growing. But I had to take a pause from that because the University of Alabama gave me a scholarship to swim.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, so
what?
I was doing really good. I was the third fastest at the school.
Whoa.
At the 50-meter freestyle.
Whoa.
But the thing was, so there was a guy named, they called him the Greek Freak. And he comes in and he's just built for it. And he's way better than me. And I started realizing that I wasn't.
Are like
Yeah. I started realizing that I wasn't built correctly to go to the Olympics. And that's what I wanted to do. So I ended up telling my coach, hey, I have to go make some money.
Yeah.
But my coach ends up telling my team, hey, Jonathan's not going to be here with us. And like, I hope the best for him. And he gave me the speech that I remember to this day. He said, Jonathan, you're a maverick. Do you know what that is? And I was like, a little bit. He said, there are two different ways up Mount Everest. There's the easy way and the hard way. You go up the hard way. And that stuck with me for, I mean, now it's been 13 years. I think about that every now and again.
So you got a scholarship to go to college, to play a sport, to be a swimmer, without even really like trying for that, because that's how physically talented you were.
I got back into swimming 6 months before I got the scholarship because I stopped and then I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
So I started swimming for about 6 months. I raced the head coach's son and I beat him like a drum. And that's what got me the scholarship.
Well, people joke that you're the Aquaman from Alabama. Do you lean into that at all?
I love that. I just wish I had the Aquaman's money, Jason Momoa's money. That'd be great.
Don't we all, Jonathan?
Ooh.
Did you watch Survivor in those years before being on it and being like, I could dominate this game?
I always thought I had what it takes to do well in Survivor.
Yeah.
I always thought I had it. But to get somebody like Jesse Tannenbaum to believe in you, I mean, that really did it for me.
Right.
Especially to believe in me for the second time. That was insane that he gave me that chance.
I love it. Well, let's jump into the world of Survivor, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
You did Endurance. You went back to regular life. You started a business. You were always training. You were always like, I want to do Survivor. And then it finally works out. COVID passes. Season 41 happens. Season 42.
That's right.
Bam,
Season
bam,
42.
bam. You get casted. Mr. Jonathan Young gets casted on Survivor. When you got the call, go back in time to that moment. How amazing did that feel after everything you'd gone through at that point?
I remember driving down the road and Jesse Tannenbaum calls me and I was so excited my ears went numb. I don't know if I was going to pass out or
like
what.
in a movie.
But yeah, I started like, I might have pulled over. I was getting so lightheaded. It was the best thing that could have happened to me. When you get called and told you're not going, that little thing on your shoulder still telling you, well, maybe this won't work. Maybe this time it's not going to work. And I still wasn't sure I was going to get on until I was on the beach and I'm walking up and Mr. Jeff is standing right there in all of his glory with about 30 cameras around him. Because they don't even tell you when they're dropping you off.
Really?
They're very strict and they put you in tents for pre-press and you're with all the cast, but you can't talk. You can't even like look at the other contestants. So everybody's sitting there like this. And if you look at somebody too long, they'll go, quit looking. We're on ice.
Ice.
and then you just look down some more for hours and days. It was almost harder than the game.
For people who don't know, on a reality TV set, when the cast isn't supposed to look at each other, interact, talk, or anything, the producers say ice.
Yes.
Because it means freeze. Don't talk, don't do anything, be still as ice.
Even if you're sitting right next to them, you can't look at them.
And the reason why we do ice on sets is because we have to get everyone's natural reactions to one another live in the moment on camera. So we can't have you and somebody else become best friends hanging out in the tents. And then once the cameras start rolling, everyone's like, how are they so cool already? How are they friends already? What, they know each other before filming? It's like, no, we need to get all the natural reactions, first impressions, first conversations, first glances, first everything on camera. So that's why ice is so intense sometimes.
Right. And even if you are on a different tribe than the people, you don't even talk to those people ever.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What did your family think of your decision to go on I would say, the hardest reality show of all time?
My dad thought that they made a mistake because I was going to take over. That's what my dad thought. He's like, they don't know what they're about to get into.
He's not wrong, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Your dad's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you made it to the finale of both seasons. You're a beast, so come on now.
They were very excited for me, the first time especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very quickly into that season 42, fans started calling you one of the greatest physical competitors the show had ever seen before. And there were moments where you literally were carrying your entire tribe through the ocean.
Yeah.
When you were filming, did you ever realize, while you were out there in Fiji, did you ever realize, like, am I becoming like an iconic character, like, to the fans? Did you ever realize that?
I still don't think I'm that. I don't. I think I got gifted. I think it's partially it's happenstance that I got to do, like, even a challenge like that. It's just I was blessed with an opportunity. I trained for it. I did my best, but I still don't look at myself as like a legend. I really don't. I don't think I'm on that level.
Because you're a sweetie through and through.
Well, thank you.
A very humble man, no matter what the haters say.
Well, thank you.
A lot of times people go on these shows and they're performative. And
Right.
they go in with a plan and they're like, I'm going to be the villain. I'm going to be the this. I'm going to be the that, And
Right.
you were like, nope, just being myself.
Mr. Jeff told me at the end of that challenge, he goes, well, this has never happened before. And right there, I was like, well, this might be a pretty cool thing to watch back. And it was. It was really cool because Mr. Jeff never stopped a challenge.
Yeah.
And he had to pull the other two tribes out of the water because they were going to drown.
My God.
Yeah.
But you're like, you would have to be dragging me if I was on your
I would
team.
drag
so
you.
just letting you know.
I would.
Did being that physical and dominant in a sense help your game throughout that season? Or do you think it hurt it?
I think it helped that I was physical, and they really emphasized on how physical I was on season 42.
Yeah.
And so I used that to my benefit on season 50.
Okay.
I knew that everybody was going to go, Jonathan is a big, strong guy. We got to keep him till at least the merge. Because that's normally what happens with big guys. They cut you right after the merge.
Got it.
So I played into that full send. I'm going to be the big guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. And everyone believed it in season 50. But what they didn't know is for 4 years, I had somebody like Boston Rob telling me what I'm supposed to do, not supposed to do, how I can use being the big guy that doesn't know a lot. So I even would act like I wasn't that intelligent on season 50. I would play into not knowing what was going on, and that, I'm just here trying to catch fish, and I'm terrible at puzzles. I'll carry you through the water if you want me to. I played into that the whole 26 days. And I do believe that a lot of the people that were in the show didn't realize how much I was playing them.
On 50, you're talking about. On 50.
On 50, they had no idea that I was playing a completely different game.
You were playing the head game.
Yeah.
You stepped into that. But back to 42.
Yes, ma'am.
Because 42 was like the first time everybody seeing you and the way you played. Did you ever feel pressure to constantly perform because you were that guy? Everybody saw you as that guy, the physical, strong guy.
I did feel like that when we got to the individual immunity challenges.
Yeah.
And I wasn't winning a whole lot at first.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to be embarrassed when I get home. The whole world's, because there are sometimes you go, I am at my weakest. I'm the most vulnerable I've ever been. And they're filming me. And I didn't do good. And the whole world's going to see me not do good. And that hurts. I remember going to the doctor at the time and just crying, going, my whole family is going to see me failing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do good. And the doctor and everybody's like, what are you talking about? You're doing great. But me personally, I can be pretty hard on myself. I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that I was worthy. And that helped a lot watching it back and seeing like, wait a second, I did do good. Like I did my best.
It's interesting, isn't it, Jonathan, going through the experience and then watching it back. How crazy was that to watch yourself back for the first time on season 42?
It was insane because when we're there, we don't even have mirrors. We don't even know what we look like.
No, you have no idea.
Yeah, we have no idea. But watching myself back and realizing that it's obvious I gave everything that I had, it
was a big lesson for you.
That was a big lesson because it makes you realize that regardless of what anybody else says, I remember that I left there going, I gave everything. I fought the good fight and I can rest and I don't have to worry about anything else. Leaving before it all airs, that's what I believe. That's the way I felt.
Right.
I'm reminded by my girlfriend, remember how you feel when you leave, that you did do everything that you could. Because that's a huge problem in today's world is you watch yourself back and you start tearing yourself apart because you read the wrong comments. You're looking at it too closely. My girlfriend goes, no, Jonathan, remember what you said when you left. You did everything you could.
Yeah.
That's what you have to remember is regardless of what anybody else says.
Right.
I know that I did everything that I could.
Yes.
They give you these papers on Survivor and they say like, what's your biggest fear? So that you can, look back on it when you get off. And my biggest fear is like dying and I'm not on empty. I'm real big on like, I don't want to regret anything. So my fear was that I am in my deathbed and I should have done this or I could have done this and I'm not ready to die because I have energy left. And that's what, every time I leave Survivor, it's like, I don't feel like I've got anything left. So that's what I'm constantly reminding myself of, like, regardless if the fans say this or say that, I know that I gave everything I had to Mr. Jeff and to the game, and I'm okay.
Good. That deserves a round of applause. Bravo, Jonathan.
Yeah.
You laid it all out there.
I did.
There's no shoulda, woulda, coulda. And honestly, not a lot of people do get that reassurance and that feeling and that confidence in themselves. So good on you. Yeah. It's going to help you just push through.
And it's hard, like for everybody out there, it's not easy seeing yourself on national TV, being that vulnerable. It's not easy watching yourself cry on TV, but the real ones know that going out there and doing it and being vulnerable, that's how people relate to you. So just remember that to all you people that watch Survivor, that we're giving it our best. Yeah. We really are.
You really can't do anything else but be yourself.
No, because like it's almost like they make the show so that you can't be anything else. Like you can't starve somebody and just put them on an island with strangers and yourself doesn't come out.
Right.
I talked to one of the producers and he said part of the reason Boston Rob and people like Coach are such big names and Miss Cerie and Aubry, it's like they are who they are and they can't change it.
Yeah.
Like you can't change who you are when you're in that scenario because eventually it comes out. Like for a day or two, you can fake it.
Right.
But week 2, you're starting to go, okay, I can't help but be me.
Yeah, especially when you're sleep deprived, your food, nutrition deprived, everything. Yes. So that's what really makes it so raw and real. Was there anything from that season that you felt maybe was your biggest mistake?
Yeah, looking back, I didn't have the best social game and how people viewed me. I didn't understand it. I didn't really see because I've never been on TV to that magnitude. Like when you're 14, it's a little different than when you're a grown man.
Yeah, you were never on TV as an adult.
Right.
Yeah.
I was never on TV as an adult. I got to see how people reacted to me and what I could change for hopefully the next season. And I did. I mean, I saw some flaws in even when you have no food. I think there was a point where I was too grumpy.
Yeah.
I mean,
understandably, I'm sure everyone's felt that.
But like, I still had to learn to put that away because people, when I'm grumpy, that doesn't come off well when you're 6'4" and you have a deep voice, especially if you're like,
it could be totally twisted.
Yes.
Yeah. Beyond just being hungry.
Right. Being hangry is a very real thing.
Yes, it is. In real life and times a billion on Survivor.
Right.
Not like, oh, I haven't eaten in 5 hours. It's like, I haven't eaten in 5 days.
Yeah. Or 10 days or 15 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I remember trying like hermit crabs and sea snails. And I was like, this isn't even worth it because it was just like little pus pockets of sand that you would eat behind the hermit crab. And I was like, well, this is like a calorie.
I'm like actually going to throw up.
Yeah, it was rough. And then the sea snails were no better.
So you didn't eat those?
Oh, I did. But I stopped.
Oh my God, Jonathan.
I stopped after a while because I'm like, I'm not getting anything out of this. It's just sand.
You're like, this is
pus.
disgusting.
Ugh.
It's not worth it.
No. I actually had to eat a sea cucumber on 50, and that was worse than the snails. And what they did was they gave me like a cold one, and they put it on a plate because I lost the bet. It was Ozzy got like a chicken dinner, and I picked the wrong one, and this one was a sea cucumber. I had to eat this so he could eat chicken. And I ate it, but it was like a booger, dude. It was like a booger in a boot, and you had to rip it off in your mouth, and it was just like
oh my God.
squirting out, and just I threw. I mean,
I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah.
Did you throw up?
I actually went after he said I could, so I went into the bushes, and he's like, "You can throw it up."
Who said you can throw up?
Mr. Jeff.
You're not allowed to throw up sometimes? Like if you have
sometimes
to?
you're not.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like if you throw up, then he might not have been able to eat the chicken. So, but he allowed me to throw up.
Well, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah,
thanks for that one.
Mr. Jeff. It was rough. But if I don't do that for Ozzy, then he's not going to trust me enough because soon after I was going after him to vote him out.
Oh,
yeah.
Twisted.
The whole game is crazy. Yeah, it's a maze.
Damn.
But that's why we love it.
Going back to 42 really quick.
Mm-hmm.
You said you didn't think that you played the best social game because you were too loyal, essentially, right? That's what people said, right?
Yeah.
But did that come from just who you were as a person? Like, did that loyalty stick with you?
I just didn't understand. Because I am a loyal person,
Yeah.
but I also didn't understand what people were looking for. Like, you can watch the game, but you never really know till you play the game. Because sometimes, like, the jury wants this, sometimes they want this. And I think what I should have done then is make more moves, even against the people that I was playing with, but in a respectful way.
Right.
But season 50, that's when I changed everything.
Let's talk about your final fire making challenge in season
yeah.
42, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the challenge that got you out, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You make it all the way to the final 4, and then you lose to Mike Turner.
That's my buddy, yeah.
Just short of the finale, right?
Man.
How devastating was that moment, Jonathan?
You know, I was okay. I would rather go out that way than being voted out.
Okay.
Because it was my downfall.
It was on you.
It was on me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make the fire fast enough, and I can deal with that.
Right.
Like if I did something, I can deal with that. And I don't think I would have made enough relationships to have won season 42. I don't think I had the resume, if you will.
When you did the final fire challenge, your rope wouldn't burn, right?
No,
it wouldn't burn, right?
What happened was I was real good with the stuff that the wood and the coconut husk that I had on the island. I was real good. 3 seconds I had a fire.
Done.
But when you do a fire making challenge on Survivor, the stuff is different. The wood is different. The husk is different.
Oh.
It's a twine instead of like straight from a coconut.
Oh.
So that threw me off.
The materials.
Yes.
Whoa, okay.
So like the husk is from a twine.
And also it's like sitting in nature and it has
Yes.
whatever's like moisture and whatever
Right.
the elements of the world.
And that's what happened was I wasn't used to it. And the wood was for like a pine. We never got any pine on the island, but our sticks were pine and
Ooh,
it just,
sneaky.
yeah, it really threw me off. And pine catches real quick.
Yeah.
And Mike actually told me that after he beat me. He's like, well, you're trying to build a fire. You could have just thrown them on and they would catch. Yeah.
Well,
But-
you and Mike ended up, even though he's the guy who got you out,
Yeah.
you ended up becoming best buds.
Yeah. He actually bought a house in Perdido, which
Near-
is where I live.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He bought a house in Florida,
So you guys are like neighbors now.
basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how did that happen? Was it once like was it like right after you were done filming, you guys just were buds? Like
As soon as we got done, we were like, we actually like each other. And then he came down to where I live. He fell in love with it. He's like, I'm going to get a place down here one day. And he did.
so there was obviously a lot of years in between you doing season 42 and season 50.
Right.
You've been very vocal about how hard you trained
Mm.
to be this best version of yourself or best competitor, best survivor player, whatever you want to call it. What did you do in that time? Did you actually practice challenges that you would do on the show? Did you train harder? Did you eat different? Like, what was life like?
So my social game is what I really wanted to work on the most.
Got it.
And Boston Rob is known for having one of the best social games there is.
Yeah, he's famous for it.
He was my neighbor and he told me like what I could do to critique my game. Like even so much so when I was working on his garage with him, he said, I could tell that you didn't like, I said this to you when I was critiquing you. And I was like, wow, he could tell that? Then I realized that sometimes when I get bothered, you can see it on my face.
There you go.
So I had to change that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told me how I can relate to people more. I need to smile more.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about this when I was out there. So for 4 years, I did. I worked on my social game. And when I got that call, I had months to prepare. So I bought puzzles. I would balance on a 2x4. It was 2 inches up. I would walk on it and I'd go back and forth. I'd turn around. I'd go there and back and there and back. I would do one foot, the other foot. Everything I could do that I knew I needed to work on, I mean, I was doing.
You like made a mini like training camp for
Yes,
yourself. And you were like, I am focused.
I even got these little puzzles off of Etsy that were like replicas of the Survivor puzzles. And it helped. I mean, the final 5, I got there and I got the puzzle and I beat her by 1 piece.
Damn. So it's safe to say that Survivor just totally consumed your brain
It did.
in that time because
It
you just
did.
wanted to come out for a second chance and be the best version of yourself you possibly could. Yeah.
I did feel like I was going to get a second chance. It was in my head. I was like, I'm going back again because my story's not finished. And I want to make sure that if I get to complete the story, that I feel like I'm done. I did it. I can move on to the next thing. And I did that. I feel like my story as of now with Survivor is complete.
Love it. Well done. So during your time between season 42 and season 50, you actually became quite close with Boston Rob, right?
So close to Mr. Rob. He wanted me to meet his kids because I was their favorite. He has 4 girls. They're beautiful. And it's so refreshing to see a family out of reality TV because Miss Amber and Mr. Rob got married from Survivor. And they've got these 4 beautiful girls. And it's the most picture perfect family.
That's awesome.
It's not fake. It's real. They're great people. And Mr. Rob, he kind of invited me in and made me feel like family, actually. Like Mr. Rob, he, like today, he even told me, like, you need to be careful of this, this, and this coming off of 50 because he cares enough to critique me. And that's a real friend.
Yeah.
Even going on 50, he wrote me a letter. He said, don't open this till you're on the plane. And so I opened the letter and it was 3 things that I should do when I'm out there on Survivor. And basically it was like, number 1, you need to smile. That's a big deal. No, number 2, know that nobody's there to help you win. Nobody's there. It's don't trust anybody enough to think that they're there to help you win.
Right.
Number 3, be yourself, but also don't get so caught up on things that you can't control, like a tribe swap or anything. Do your best and forget the rest, because that's a huge part of reality TV. You can get so caught up on what you could have done or should have done, or there's a lot of things you can't control in reality TV, and be okay with that.
Those must have been like the words that you lived by throughout the whole season, yeah?
I read it, I don't know how many times, that letter. And then when I got home, I framed it.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because there's good things in life, too, to smile and to remember, like, there aren't a whole lot of people that are in your corner, and just be careful and to do your best.
That was so nice of him.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have to do that.
No, he didn't.
He did that.
He did.
Because he wanted to do that.
He did.
That's so cool.
And the cool part is somebody with such a big name like Boston Rob cared enough to help me out like that. You know, he's a real friend.
He's a real one.
He's a real one.
So last question about 42. When completing 42 and then getting this opportunity to go into 50 all these years later, did you feel pressure that you were going to maybe be still seen as just the challenge guy, the strong guy?
I wanted everyone to think I was just the challenge guy. I wanted them to believe I did nothing different. I brought the same clothes that I had on season 42 so that I would look the same. I wanted them to think that I was 100% the same guy, so it'd catch them off guard when I played different. And when I could say, like, hey, I actually did this, and this, at least in the final tribal, that's what I wanted to do, was let everybody know, hey, gotcha. I wasn't playing the same game.
Well played. I even went down to the clothes, bringing the same clothes. That's smart.
That's right.
Way to keep them folded away, not overworn, right?
That's right.
For the next call when it finally happened. So you're on season 50. This was the biggest season of Survivor of all time.
Yeah.
Which, that alone, Jonathan Young, Mr. Jonathan Young, should be an accomplishment in itself, that they considered you and then wanted you to be on the season, which was so epic. What did it feel like stepping back on that sand for the first time and being like, we're back, we're in Fiji?
I was ecstatic because I knew what I had to go up against this time. It's like the second time you play, you know what to expect. And so as soon as I hit the beach and Mr. Jeff is standing there in all of his Mr. Jeff glory, and he goes, I want everything. It was like chills, because this guy that I've been thinking about playing this game for 4 years, it's right in front of me. Like the flame, the fire, the sea of cameras. It's go time. And that just got me all juiced up to play this game even harder.
When you start season 50, it's different right out the gate because you have all these other Survivor legends. You're amongst all of these greats, right? What was that like?
I knew playing the game with these legends was also something to hide behind. Like, I'm a big guy, but when you have somebody like Coach and Miss Cerie and Colby and Miss Stephanie, all of these great players, you can kind of hide behind them. Like, I've never won $1 million, but 3 of these people have. I've never been on Fire with Jeff Probst's podcast, but 3 of these people have.
Right.
And that kind of keeps me hidden in a way. And especially if you're playing dumb and you're not ashamed to be looked at like that. Because a lot of people, I realized, they want their moves to be seen out in front because it's on TV, and they're thinking about the effect of how it'll look to their friends at home. Right. Instead of thinking about how you're going to win, you're thinking about how it looks on television. That's always a no-no. If you're going to play a game, remember what you're there for. You're either there to be seen or you're there to win the $2 million. There's a way, for me, I think it's better to think about getting the $2 million will look way better on television than just one specific move. You know, I want it to be the longevity to be there.
You didn't feel pressure seeing all these legends, it sounds like. You weren't pressured by it, or were you?
No, I knew I didn't feel as much pressure as I did. I felt like the target was off of me.
Okay.
Like, you got to think of what everybody else is thinking, because if you know yourself and you know your enemy, 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. That's what Sun Tzu said. And that's what I would think about a lot. Like if people thought they knew me but didn't, then I'm already a step ahead.
This is kind of like a insider baseball question. When you first saw your other competitors, was that the first time you knew it was them? Did you see them prior to the first day of filming?
That was the first time
So
I knew.
none of you had any idea who was going to be on the cast with who?
No, we didn't know until we got there, until we got to California and we're heading to Fiji, who we were playing with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you saw each other a little bit before
we started the game, yes.
Recording started on day one.
Yes.
Okay. So did you do your research on everybody? You're like, yeah, right? You probably had like, did you have your phone like on the plane just like, like
they
searching?
took it immediately as soon as we got there, yes. So as soon as we get to LA, they take your phone, they take everything.
Really?
Yeah, they give you like one last phone call to your friends and family.
Yes.
And then you're theirs.
Wow.
For about 2 weeks before it starts filming. So in California, they take your phone and then you're completely in their hands. They get you on the plane.
Wow.
They fly you out there. They put you in a room alone.
So you basically had to do your homework beforehand on anyone that could have potentially been.
Right. So like you just watch as much Survivor as you can. Yeah.
That's crazy. You're like live, sleep, breathe Survivor.
Yeah.
You're watching it. You're practicing the games. You're thinking what you could do, like memorizing everybody's resumes, how many times they've been on the show. Crazy.
I knew it was going to be stacked with great players too. And they didn't disappoint. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Once the season started and you were in it, the gameplay, everything, did you believe that you would make it as far as you did? Did you foresee that? I know you maybe wanted it, right?
I was never convinced I was going to make it to the end until that was the final three. Because that's like the big no-no in Survivor is getting comfortable. The producer said to me, if you get comfortable, then you're pretty much out of the game.
Right.
That's a killer in Survivor. Comfort is the killer. So I never got comfortable in thinking that I wasn't going to get voted out.
Right.
The only thing that makes you comfortable is having immunity and winning.
And you got that.
I did get that.
How many times?
2 times.
2 times.
Yeah.
Immunity 2 times.
Yeah.
On season 50.
That was good. I needed it both times.
That's gangsta. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you're the only one that thing like looks like it fits.
Yeah,
like, it looks like it fits.
I would wear that in regular life.
When you won those immunities, how much of a relief was that? Because you like you said,
oh my gosh,
you're exhausted in every way, shape, and form of the word.
You get a breath of like, oh, I did it. And you get like a relaxing breath, and then immediately you remember, well, now I have to do something with this, and then you go right to it. So it's really, it's like a whole nother pressure that you get that's put on you because it is your time to do something.
Right.
Because if you don't do something, then not only is it looked down upon in the Survivor world, but you missed an opportunity. A missed opportunity is huge in Survivor, and it'll come back to bite you in the final 3.
And you just never know.
No.
You just never know what's going to come back. Coming into season 50, did you feel added pressure every single time you kept making it? You know, you make it past an elimination, you make it past an elimination, you make it. Did that pressure get to you, or did it not because you've been through it already?
The pressure is insane. When you're balancing on a triangle and Mr. Jeff's like, all you have to think about is this. Nothing else matters. There's pressure, but then there's like, you get laser focused on what's happening right in front of you. And then afterwards, it kind of hits you like, I just did that. And you move on to the next thing and the next thing until eventually, like when you're the final 3, you have nothing left. And it's like, there's no more pressure except to give your speech. That's when there's pressure, is when there's 3 people and you have to give a speech to the jury as to why you deserve the $2 million. And that's where a lot of the pressure came from, was that night, the final tribal council, where we plead our case against people that we all voted against.
Right.
And that's the hardest part is like, you got to talk to people and convince them that you are worthy for $2 million after you just voted them out. That's very difficult.
It's such a head game.
Yeah.
Such a head game.
It is a head game. Like the whole thing is
I mean, that's why, I was going off preaching before. Why don't they talk about the Survivor aspect of it more? But it's built to be a head game.
Yeah.
It's by formula.
Yeah.
By format.
Outwit, outplay, and outlast. Yeah. That's kind of, outplaying is going to look different every year. Outlasting is going to look the same, but outwitting and outplaying it's going to constantly change every year. That's going to look different. Used to be like outplaying could look like out surviving, but it's slowly morphing into different things.
Looking back now, is there a jury question or an answer you wish you could redo?
I would probably redo my whole final tribal council. Looking back now and knowing how people thought of what people thought and seeing who was swayed for what and for what moves people like to see, I would have brought more up about my strategy and my social game, even more so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of your game or personality did you want most for the viewers to see and finally recognize during season 50?
I really wanted the fans and for even the castaways to see that I had a whole lot more in me than just physical strength.
Right.
I believe that I showed that because I put everything into it, like strategically that I could. I felt like I had my hand on a lot of the votes, and I really, really felt like I played a different game.
I do too, Jonathan. And obviously you did. Came in second place, dude.
Yeah.
People see this massive physical guy, but emotionally, you truly are incredibly loyal and very relationship driven. Do you think that is the most misunderstood thing about you?
People look at me and they judge me for a certain way. Like they don't think that I would work with certain people, and that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really have had a hard time with fans thinking that I wouldn't work with even women. That really threw me off that people thought that was a thing because it was so not the case. I mean, I worked with Stephanie, I worked with Aubry, I worked with Miss Chrissy, and there were times when I even worked with Miss Cerie.
Yeah.
It's just such a backwards, that really is such a misconception. That one hurt me. I want everyone to know that I don't think that I am better than or that I have more figured out than anyone just because of my size and stature. I love everyone. Like if I were to if I were able to communicate to the people like who I really am is like there's no I love absolutely every single person like that's on Survivor. There is no discrimination. I don't go in saying that I will play with this certain type of person or this type of person. I would play with anybody, and it hurts me to think that is a thing because seeing the comments and the reviews, that's something that keeps popping up is that I wouldn't or that I discriminate against women, against any type of people, if that they're gay, straight, the color, any of that. That's just so that's just so upsetting that's a thing.
That's not real.
That's not real. And the fact that gets brought up, I don't even know where it's coming from because it's not true. I don't believe that. I know that's not a thing. And Survivor wouldn't put anybody out there that would play a game like that. Survivor, they do these background checks and they make sure that the people that they put on have not a bone in their body.
No discrimination.
No discrimination.
Yeah.
It's not even a thought in the heads of the people that are playing the game. Because if it was, people like me would go, what do you mean you wouldn't play with this person? Mm-hmm. I would make a scene.
Right.
That's not the case. Nobody is like that on Survivor. And especially, at least I can speak for myself, it's not me. Right. I would, and that's what I would want people to know is that I would play with anyone and I
Yeah.
love everyone.
There's an aspect of going on reality TV that is great and cool and fun and awesome, but it's also really tough sometimes, right? When people don't actually understand who you are. That's
Yeah.
hard, right?
No, it is hard because I don't know if it is a thing. I don't know. It's very difficult for me because I'll read these comments and knowing that it's so far off in the left field that that I don't even think I should respond. I don't even know if I'm supposed to respond to these allegations because it's a very difficult thing. I don't know if people that watch reality TV want drama. Maybe I understand there's a lot of drama in reality TV, and I get that's a huge part of it. But that doesn't mean you have to make drama out of nothing that is so personal.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong.
It's hurtful.
Yeah, you can be upset that I voted out whoever or that I helped vote out Ozzy. I understand. It was your favorite player. But keep it in the game. You don't have to personally think that somebody's a bad person because they took someone out of a game.
Yeah.
That never made any sense to me. Like, people will watch who is kicked out of the game, and I don't think it's just Survivor, and make judgments on the people that voted them out.
Yeah.
And say that's because they don't like this type of person. It's 100% the TV show. Be upset that we voted off that person, but leave it there.
Yeah.
Because the only reason they vote them out is because they could beat them at the end.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking about the whole time.
Yeah.
Is if you're trying to win $2 million, like, for example, I couldn't beat Aubry because I knew her resume of playing Survivor 4 or 5 times was better than mine.
Right.
And I knew that Tiffany, that I couldn't beat her because she was getting ready to break records in Survivor.
Right.
There was no way that I could go to the end with these super strong women. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm actually saying you're great and I can't beat you.
And also super strong women, yes, factually, but also huge characters in the reality TV world.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what happens when you are reoccurring on a cast member or you do multiple shows and you have more and more fans and people know who you are. You're now also a character. You know what I mean? You're yourself, but you're also a character of entertainment for people that are watching.
Yes.
Look, Jonathan, what do you want to say out there to the haters? Like, what do you want to say to the people that just don't understand you? If you could just say, like, guys, this is the real me. Like, what would you like to say to them?
I would love to say that if it's a thought that I wouldn't work with somebody because they are a different gender than me, have different beliefs than me, look different than me, act different than me, if that's a thought, please erase that because that's not the truth. I would work with anyone and I love everyone. And it does hurt when people comment that sort of thing and say that Jonathan wouldn't work with women or that he's mad that a woman won. That is absurd because I think that Aubry is a great winner. Mm-hmm. And I think that she has played hard, and the fact that her being a woman has anything to do with anything and anything negative is crazy to me.
Like, it shouldn't. It should just be she won because she played fair and square.
Right.
And
she won. And that's it. And it's not
because she's a woman.
She played a good game. It's not because anything that I am shocked that people would think has anything to do with her being a woman or anything. It's if somebody plays the better game, regardless who they are. Aubry played and she won. She played the better game. Yeah. So I'm just shocked that that's a thing.
Well, big on you for saying that. Kudos to you. But let's speak on Aubry winning. How do you honestly feel about Aubry winning season 50?
Aubry's a great winner. And Aubry has played 4 or 5 times and she's put her heart, she's put her blood, sweat, and tears into this game. And I think it's great to sit next to her and Joe and to play with an amazing cast like I did. It's an honor. So the fact that I came in second on a great game like season 50 is an absolute pleasure. And my initial feelings of losing that $2 million, it was so hard because I put everything I had into the game. I did think about the game every day. So giving your all and not quite getting there was very difficult for me. But I'm not taking anything from Aubry because I do believe she played a good game. She played a better game, and she deserved to win. Aubry had some good moves, and she also had some amazing relationships that helped her in the final tribal council, and she's a great speaker. I think initially it was very, very hard for me to take that loss, and I could have handled things and worded things better. But I give credit to Miss Aubry for playing such a good game. And like I said at the finale, the third time is the charm.
Yes. So we hope to see him back.
That's right.
Do you know what this is?
What is this?
Clock it.
Clock it.
Put all your other fingers down. Clock it.
We're clocking it.
So at the end of the day, in classic reality TV terminology, what do you want your Survivor legacy to be?
I would love if my Survivor legacy was that I changed my game when I came back more than any Survivor player in the new era ever. That I got to play the second time and it was completely different. So that would be my legacy, is that I could change my game.
I love that. That you are the player who has significantly changed his game
That's
the most.
Right. That I can move, I can shake, I can be that social player. And the different gameplay is so much different than the first go around. So I'd like to be remembered for that.
And you proved it to yourself that you did do that.
Yeah.
Epic. Did Survivor change your life?
Survivor changed my life. Right after season 42, I mean, immediately when I got home, I just felt different. I felt thankful. And then 6 months later when it aired, it was crazy to see how much people loved Survivor. I didn't even know that it was as big of a deal till I was on it. And yeah, I mean, it changed my life for the better. It showed me that I can do it. A lot of people don't really know till you do something like that you can do it. And that was a big moment for me.
What did Survivor ultimately teach you?
Well, it taught me that if I think I'm doing something right, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right in other people's eyes, or for somebody else to be doing it could be wrong. So having that view of the same thing being not correct for other people, it's difficult. You don't really know what's right for some people in the moment.
Right.
So
very interesting. And then lastly, my last question I want to ask you, is Mr. Jonathan Young finally at peace with his Survivor journey?
I am at peace. I feel like I did everything that I could do. Does that mean that I wouldn't go back for the third time? Absolutely not. I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Yes.
But as far as feeling like I did everything I can do, I feel good about it.
You're at peace for now.
I'm at peace for now. Until next time, Mr. Jeff.
Until the next time you heard it here. Now, I want to move on to my favorite part of the podcast, where you get to pick out a piece of these lovely, crazy clothing, whichever speaks to you the most, and we'll do a fun game of this or that, okay? All right, Jonathan, please describe to the people listening what this piece, this frock looks like that you're wearing.
So we'll start up top. We've got these frills that are laced with golden string, very golden. The buttons are golden with a flower design, and the shirt is green with bushes and ornaments. And let's see, I look like my head is coming out of a flower, the top of a flower.
You look like a fabulous green and gold leprechaun.
Yeah. And it's long enough for me, but the sleeves are a little tight.
A little tight on the muscles there, a little tight. My piece is crazy. I look like a fabulous clown with blues, pinks, purples, yellows, and some bedazzledness on the top. It's fun, right?
I love it. It's kind of like a little Blues Cluesy with the artwork.
Yeah, it feels like Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon
kind of
for
like,
sure.
Yeah, it's just like a splash of color and fun. So wanted to match the colorful vibe with you.
Good job.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do some rapid fire Survivor style questions.
Hit
so
me.
answer as quick as you can and we'll have some fun with this, okay?
I'm ready.
Hardest player to beat.
Suri.
Most underrated player.
Colby.
Best challenge competitor ever.
Ozzy.
Funniest person viewers barely got to see.
Mike White.
Most necessary Survivor skill.
Speaking.
Knowing how to starve.
Yeah.
Hardest part of Survivor fans don't fully understand.
Yeah, that being able to speak clearly and explain yourself is very important.
I love how fast you're going. I love it. Toughest day physically in Survivor history for you?
One day I passed out because I didn't have enough water, and I was really nervous they were going to put it on TV, and I'd be very embarrassed. But I passed out. My buddy Mike was shaking my legs, and he woke me up, and Jeff and the doctors checked on me, and I was so nervous they're going to show it on TV. I started crying, and they didn't show it, so it was all for nothing. Day 20. Season 42.
Oh, you remember the day.
It was scary.
Oh my God, you remember the day. What's harder, the starvation, the paranoia, or the social exhaustion?
Golly, the social exhaustion is the hardest part of Survivor.
What's your biggest regret?
Not speaking as clear and as eloquent as I could have on season 50, Final Tribal Council.
What was your favorite moment ever from both seasons that you were on Survivor?
When I was carrying my tribe and a ladder at the same time through the ocean, when it was really wavy and Jeff had to call both the tribes in. Not mine, because we won that challenge.
One move you wish you made?
Part of me wishes I would have gone for Sari earlier in the game because she is a powerhouse in Survivor.
Love it. One player you wish you aligned with?
Genevieve. Oh, I would have liked to align with her longer and had worked with her. She's awesome.
All right, amazing. Let's move into this or that. This is fun. This is fast. This is punchy, okay?
Got it.
Endurance or Survivor?
Survivor.
Survivor is the answer.
Survivor.
Survivor 42 or Survivor 50?
Survivor 50.
Damn, okay. Outwit, outplay, or outlast?
Outwit.
Outwit. Fire making challenge or puzzle challenge?
I would rather do a fire making challenge, but I did win my last puzzle challenge, but I'm sticking with fire making.
Okay. Tribal council or immunity challenge?
Immunity challenge.
Of course. Winning immunity or pulling off a blindside?
Pulling off a blindside.
Okay. Strength or social game?
Social game.
Being underestimated or being the biggest threat?
Being underestimated.
Rice or reward feast?
Reward feast.
Duh.
Yeah.
Sleep in the rain or sleep next to someone who's snoring in shelter?
Sleep next to someone snoring. But here's the thing. It's not dry in the shelter no matter how many leaves you put on. So I guess I'll sleep in the rain because I'd rather not be wet next to someone that's snoring.
Right. At least you could just
oh my gosh.
pass out in the rain.
And you'd be surprised how bad some of these people snore. I'm not kidding.
Being on Survivor again or host a Survivor show of your own?
I would like to host.
Why not, right?
That would be a lot of fun. That'd be something new.
On the pedestal of Mr. Jeff.
Yeah. I'd learn a lot from Mr. Jeff, though.
Of course. I'm sure you have subconsciously and you don't even know.
I have, yeah.
Ocean life or mountain life?
Ocean life.
Spearfishing or weightlifting?
Spearfishing.
Oh, love it. Beach workout or gym workout?
Beach workout.
Fishing boat or luxury yacht?
Oh my gosh. I would go fishing off my luxury yacht. Yeah.
Cowboy boots or barefoot on the beach?
Barefoot on the beach.
Protein shake or cheeseburger?
Protein shake.
Aquaman or Tarzan?
Those are, if I ever got famous, those are two roles I'd want to play. Tarzan.
Live without coffee or live without protein?
Buy coffee. No coffee.
No more coffee.
Yeah, because I would shrivel up if I had no protein.
True, very true.
Yeah.
Early mornings or late nights?
Early mornings.
Are you a texter or a caller?
Caller.
Do you do FaceTime?
Not a lot. I
love
like
the phone,
calling, and texting is too much.
You gotta
Lock it
hear the
in.
person's voice. You said lock it in.
What are you saying?
Clock.
Clock it in.
Clock it.
Clock it in?
Just clock it.
Clock it.
Clock it, Jonathan.
Clock it.
All right. Small town life or Hollywood attention?
Small town life with a little bit of Hollywood attention for Survivor.
Getting ready. You love the small town life.
Yes.
You like to step into the spotlight.
Love the small town life, but the spotlight, yes.
It's calling his name.
Yeah, so it's hard.
Because he's a star.
Yeah. Can't you see?
If there was another reality show that you wanted to be on, what would it be?
There's this one show where you're like a Navy SEAL. I forget what it's called.
Special Forces.
Special Forces. That or
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Fighting Jake Paul. What? Yeah, I'd love to fight Jake Paul.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Clock that.
Clock that, Jake
Okay.
Paul.
Jake Paul's listening.
If I ever get famous enough, I would fight Jake Paul. 100%.
I hope Jake Paul hears this podcast. If you're listening,
Jake Paul, if you're listening, please fight me.
you got a new contender, buddy.
I would love that. Or his brother.
All right, Jonathan, that concludes our This or That game. Thank you for being so much fun, answering some rapid fire questions and doing This or That. It's been an absolute honor having you on my podcast. You are a gem of a human, and I hope everybody listening and watching knows now who the real Jonathan Young is. Yeah?
That's right.
You're a legend.
Thank you very much.
Until the next season of Survivor.
Clock it.
All right, guys, you know what's up when it comes to reality TV. I've got
Dibs on this. Clock that.